This is the podcast TV show that gives you the facts, food, and fitness. Join me as I travel around in my RV interviewing people from all around the world via online and in person, discovering the 8 dimensions of wellness so that we can find a way to live in complete balance.
Check that out, guys, the final product. If you're hungry, you got smell-o-vision, come get it. There you go, I wish, right? Time to get going.
Welcome to Wellness on the Go. I am your host, Jason Cronan, and enjoy the show.
Our special guest today is a speaker, author, and a transformational coach. I'd like to welcome to the show, Shiraz. How you doing today, Shiraz, and how's everything going?
I'm doing amazing. Everything's going really wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying the nice warm weather, and I'm enjoying this great event, and it's awesome to meet you today. How did you become an expert in this field?
Through my own life journey, the one thing I've discovered is the problem you think you have to solve is actually the solution for another problem you're not looking at. And I found that out not actually when I was 22, but it started when I was 22. I was in university. I was in the best shape of my life. And I was just getting ready to start my life and my career. The world was my oyster, but the world didn't give me pearls. It gave me arthritis. Yeah. And I'm talking severe rheumatoid arthritis in every joint in my body. So I went from being a bodybuilder, lost about 50 pounds, became really skinny. There were nights where I would sip my dinner through a straw because my jaw was so swollen and sore from the arthritis, like every joint in my body. And that became my life for a while. It would go into remission sometimes, then hit me back. But I had to try to get rid of it. And I tried medication, I tried diet, I tried supplements. I started trying things like acupuncture. And everything actually worked for a little while and then would stop working. And I couldn't figure out what to do or how to get out of it. And I figured this was just going to be my life. And almost 20 years went by before my father and I were having a conversation. And I said, is there anything we haven't tried, anything that you just found out or hadn't thought about? And he said, there's a program in India called combined therapy. And I've heard they've had results with multiple illnesses. And that caught my attention because usually people go for cancer or arthritis or diabetes. And he's like, no, they do everything. And I'm like, how do they do everything, right? And so I got on a plane, I went over to India. And because it was India, I had got it into my mind that it's going to be some guy that's going to be going like the Reiki healing. It's like, here we go, it's going to take care of it. And that's not what happened. He actually just sat down and talked to me for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it was kind of like being with a psychiatrist, except he wasn't trying to solve anything or tell me how did that make you feel and all that stuff. It was just gathering information. And at the end of the 2 weeks, he says, here's the problem. You believe you're responsible for everyone in your life. And I said, no, I don't. Like, that's crazy. And he said, no, I know you don't think it consciously, but from everything you've told me over the last few weeks, you've created a belief that started when you were 8 years old, that you're responsible for everyone in your life.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I know I'm responsible, but I don't think I'm responsible for everyone. But even so, what's that got to do with arthritis?
Yeah.
And he said, well, you don't want to be responsible for everyone. I said, yeah. And he said, and if you're lying in bed in pain, you don't have to be responsible for anyone and you don't have to feel guilty about it. And no one can judge you for it. It's the solution to a problem you don't even know you have. And I said, that's messed up.
It's powerful though, really powerful.
It's very powerful, but it was like, I've been doing this all to avoid responsibility that I didn't even know was there.
Wow.
And it was crazy. And then I thought about it and I said, but wait a second, if what you're saying is true, then all I have to do is say, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. And the arthritis should go away. Right?
Wow.
And I'm not even believing this, what I'm saying. Like that's, according to his logic, that's how it works. And he said, if you believe it deep down, you actually believe you're not responsible for anyone else, then you don't need the arthritis. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. And I woke up the next morning, no pain, no inflammation, more mobility, and I could even breathe better.
Wow.
The damage was still there, but the arthritis itself was gone.
Wow.
And I'm freaking out. Right?
What you just said is going to touch thousands of people. And I too deal with social anxiety and injuries and everything else. And That's amazing. Like right now, I'm kind of chills. I'm like, whew. I was like, that's really, 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 really powerful. That's awesome that you're tapped into that. Whew.
Yeah. And the thing is, most chronic illnesses, the chronic ones, are solutions for problems people don't realize they have.
Wow.
And I've worked with people since then and got, it's not the main thing I do, but a lot of times I've gotten people out of illness, out of pain. And it's never to do with the illness. It's always something else. I'm in a relationship I hate. I don't want to go back to my job, right? I feel responsible for all these people, and the illness gets you out of the situation. And the heart of it is the avoidance of the possibility of guilt or shame. We will do anything to avoid having those emotions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's your ideal client for that? I'm assuming you have met so many people and transformed so many lives, but who do you think is your ideal client you could help?
The target I work with right now mostly are coaches and healers, because they're making a big difference in the world. And I see them helping so many people, but they've also got this mindset thing that it's a gift and I shouldn't charge a lot for it. Or sometimes like they take on the responsibilities of the people they work with. And so they create illness for themselves and they tire themselves out, and they're hardworking. They're so heart-centered, but they're not where they should be. And all of that is coming from these unconscious beliefs to avoid guilt or shame, to have responsibility, to not be money focused. And it's funny because everyone's like, no, it's not supposed to be about the money. I'm like, it can be as well. It's not an either or, right? So you, and the more money you have, the more people you can help. And people don't get that a lot. They always make it an either or choice, and they'll create illness out of that.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Now I'm thinking a lot about that, the things I have to change in order to feel better. And the reason I love doing this show is because I meet people like yourself with experiences, and has helped me significantly, as well as all the people listening. And I do know now, this is the question that's great. What was one of the greatest success stories that one of your clients has shared with you or expressed after you worked with them?
I had a client that had fibromyalgia, severe fibromyalgia, and we traced it down to her job.
Wow.
And it was interesting how, because I've had a few clients that have the same thing. I have to go back to that job. And I'm like, why? He said, well, it's because I've been doing it for so long. I said, but you hate it. He said, but I'll lose my pension. Right? Well, can't you train to do something else? Well, if you get a job that pays more. No, I'm locked into, and they'll go excuse after excuse after excuse that they have to go back to the job, but they don't want to. So they've created the illness. I had one woman that created cancer because of that same reason. But with this girl, I finally got her to go get another job, right? You just find something that you actually love. And she quit her job and she didn't even get the new job. She quit her job. She said, okay, I'm done with that job. I'm going to quit it. I'm going to look for something else. And the next day her fibromyalgia was gone.
Wow. Because I have a person right now I was talking to about fibromyalgia, and I was approached by someone the other day about fibromyalgia and how to do to help them. I did whatever I could to give them tips, but I definitely have to have them contact you, because that's something that I've never really thought about in that depth of the mindset of your job could be causing your disease. And that's really much almost for some people that don't believe in that, it's going to be hard, but I believe in it. Believe me, I know. You take away that environment and you feel better. That's excellent.
And the environment is so important, because if you studied epigenetics, you may have the genes for certain diseases, but if you're in a positive environment, they never get turned on.
Right?
And this is basically me. I created my own internal environment, turned on my gene for arthritis, switched the environment, turned off the gene for arthritis, and it's all good now.
Exactly. That's great. No, we got to talk more, definitely, because I know that's something that all my clients will really, really benefit from, as well as the people listening.
We'll be right back after the short break. Don't go anywhere. Hi, I'm Jason here with Body Express Strong. Have you ever dealt with anxiety, stress, and almost got to the point of burnout, or have been burned out in your life? I know I suffered with anxiety all my life. For the last 2 years, I've developed a system to neutralize your anxiety, reduce stress, and to avoid burnout. That's right, I can help you get rid of your anxiety on exercise physiology. Call us today at 615-732-5799. And for today, and for all the listeners watching, I'd like to give you my free wellness routine checklist. You can download it at the link below and use that link to get started. Reduce stress, neutralize your anxiety, and also take back your life to avoid burnout. Have a great fit day. We are back with Shiraz. Thank you very much for listening and watching.
Yeah, I see all the books you have in the background. Share us one of your books or your multiple books that you wrote. I would love for us to hear about that.
Well, I've only written two. Those are just books on the bookshelf. But the one right here is my book, How to Rewrite Reality. A lot of my clients, and now I've taken on the title Reality Shifting Specialist, because when you have this shift in your mindset, like the illness going away or jobs coming out of nowhere, money showing up, people are like, I didn't do anything yet. It just showed up, right? It's like reality changed. And so the book is basically an instruction manual in story format. So it has everything related to stories, what your genre is, what your main character does, what your supporting characters do, the plot lines in your life. So it's all that metaphor through the book to show you how to lose the stories that aren't working for you and create the stories that do work for you.
I greatly appreciate that. It sounds like one of the best books to get. If you're dealing with any kind of pain out there or any discomfort or any kind of illnesses, or even if a family member, everyone could benefit from your book.
Yes. Yeah. I actually had one of my friends got it for his son who was in depression for years, and he came out of depression after reading the book.
Wow. That's big, because there's a lot of people with depression. I have a lot of family with depression and mental illness. I work part-time in mental illness, so that's a big aspect of it. I'm just so impressed because I'm kind of shocked right now about what you're saying. It's making me feel like this could have been done a long time ago. Like in my mindset, it's like, what am I doing? It's like, I gotta forget about everything and chill out.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's always the timing too, because if I had met that guy in India the first 5-10 years of me having arthritis, I would have been, that's full of crap, go away. I would never have been in that mind space. But when I was ready to actually hear him and shift, then that's why it just showed up like it did. So this information is showing up right when you need it.
That's amazing. Yeah, you definitely like karma. Good karma comes to you when you need it. The question I ask everybody that's on the show, what is your definition of total wellness?
For me, total wellness is being in, it's interesting. It's not so much the physical wellness, but being in that happy, playful state with yourself creates more physical wellness around you. And I've seen people that work out and eat right and everything, but they're still not happy and they're not in a complete state of wellness. But I eat fairly well, but I'm also going to eat junk, because sometimes it's just like this morning I had Captain Crunch peanut butter cereal right before this. That's
the way to do it. I love my ice cream, so I'm not going to give that up.
Right. But I'm enjoying it so much. And have you ever seen the work of Dr. Emoto?
I've heard of him. I think I'm not 100% familiar, but definitely you could fill us in on that.
Okay, so he did these experiments with water, where the first thing he did was he put words on containers with water. So love, joy, peace, and then hate, envy, anger. And then he froze them really quickly. And the ones that had love, joy, and peace had these beautiful snowflake patterns in the crystals. And the ones with the envy and hate had these jagged ice crystals. And you like look at them and go, holy crap. And then he did the experiments where people would just send those emotions to the water and then freeze the water, same results. So it's showing that there's an energy in the words and the emotions of what we have. So when you're eating something or when you're cooking something, whatever emotions you're feeling are going into the food, right? And so when I eat, one of my cousins pointed this out to me, and because I didn't realize I was doing it, she goes, when you eat, you always eat what you love and you always savor the food. Like you're just like in heaven whenever you're having a meal. And I realized with Dr. Emoto's work that I'm putting that energy into the food as I'm eating it. I'm purifying the energy of the water, raising the vibration of the water, and then it's going into my body. And we're 70% plus water.
Yeah.
And see, this is where praying for your meals came from, to put that energy of gratitude into the food and then consume it.
Oh, wow.
And you can do this on your own too, just have to have the right emotions. And don't ever cook while you're angry. And if you go to a restaurant and you see the chef is angry, get the hell out, go to another restaurant. This is the rules I've learned.
I was about to ask you that, can a chef put in that energy and then you're eating that, so you have to kind of work twice as hard to make it better? If like the negativity is there. And I believe all frequencies, with music frequency, sound frequency, internal frequencies, all different frequencies. So I'm a big believer in that. That's perfect. For us today, do you have a gift for our listeners, or where can we find you? Where can we contact you to hire you?
You can get to me at energeticmagic.com, just like energetic magic there. And I can send out what I have are these focusing audios. You listen to them and they train your brain to focus on what you want instead of be distracted by everything that's going on around you. And this is techniques I use every single day. And it's gotten me to a point where I don't get upset. I'm in a happier mood all the time, which again affects my health all the time.
That's perfect. Yeah, I definitely will listen to them myself. And also, I'll put those in the link to the in your bio and also in the show notes so everyone can find those. And I really appreciate that, and everyone will as well. Is there anything else that I forgot on the show today that you'd like to include, or anything about things we need to know about you or your business?
No, if you go to the website, that's fine. And I just like to tell people, don't be afraid to be the happiest person in the room, because that happiness affects your health, it affects your prosperity. So have fun.
That's perfect. Happy is what's contagious, like they always say. I can tell with your personality, you're real relaxed, real chill. You can tell about me, I'm a little hyper, a little wired, but it's I'd rather be a little chill, kind of come down like about 10 notches a little bit more. But that's great, because that's kind of sombers people out and helps them focus. But it was great having you on the show today. I learned so much. I know others did as well. But I hope you have a great fit day.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason.
You're very welcome. There you go. Right there.